Yo guys, what is up? It's Teach here, coming at you again with another video over on Ark Survival Ascended, and I wanted to show you 12 things, like just amazing things that Ark has added in order to make your game more fun and more enjoyable. These are 12 different things that are quality of life upgrades that exist between Ark Survival Evolved and Ark Survival Ascended. I'm going to go ahead and go through each one by one, explain to you what it is and why it's a game that's just, I mean, they've improved tons of stuff. So that's what I'm gonna show you. If you don't mind, smash that like button, leave a comment below for the algorithm, and consider subbing to the channel. I'm starting to get towards 100,000. That's been my dream. So anyways, the first thing I want to show you is the easiest one to understand. So the updated UI interface. Now, it doesn't seem like much when you're first looking at it. However, they kind of redid a lot of the generic Ark UI. It looks very similar. However, there's a lot of small changes that unless you're playing the game, you wouldn't understand, right? So you've got tribes, you've got groups that you can set up, you've got governances, you've got alliances, and it's very simple. The last one, there was a lot of different options. You can see tribes and groups can be a part of all that kind of stuff. You got a really neat tracking tab that's been completely overhauled as well. You can also see all the Explorer notes easily. There is a quick option for your map, and they've made a bunch of changes I'll talk about in just a second here. But the OI is just a lot cleaner. There's things like the pet now goes here, so you don't have to worry about putting it in your offhand slot. There's a lot of things in general that have just made this game much simpler to play. It's not like you have to be like, oh, I have to do this and then that, blah, 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 blah. It's very easy, and that UI interface is a big upgrade. Now, that kind of leads us into the second thing that you want to be aware of, right? Your map. The map used to suck inside of Ark Survival Evolved. Now, in Ark Survival Ascended, I'm just going to, just for the length of this video, ASA is what I'm going to say. You can see right here, you are able to hover over the entire map, put pings and placers down, and add waypoints based upon locations and stuff like that. I can add a point and put whatever coords I want, and that point can then be displayed, just so you can see. I'm gonna go ahead and hit X on that. You can see this one says PC right here, right? I can click on that waypoint, and then in the game itself, it's going to actually show me where that waypoint is on a map. So that's huge. And that allows you to tag bases, tag players, tag teams, tag all kinds of different things in a very simple menu, right? So you can hit it. You can also double tap, another UI upgrade. If you double tap, it gives you the access to looking at all the different points that you've made. And you can add and clear up to 16 different waypoints. So it's not like you can only track one or two things. And then you can very easily clear all these things so you don't have to actually track them. It's very simple to do. That's a huge upgrade, especially when you find something that you want. I can never remember the location unless I write it down. You no longer need to write it down. You can use the in-game map. Now, that's number two. Number three is going to be the building overhaul that exists inside the game. Building is so much easier. And I'm just going to show you one simple addition, right? So the fact of the matter is, in Ark, you used to have elaborate pathways in order to create drop foundations and do all kinds of stuff. Now, integrated into the game is raising, lowering foundations, snapping foundations to each other at different levels, which means that you have a lot easier time for people that love to build, especially on official, to actually build some really cool looking bases. Now, they've added in all kinds of features, right? So all kinds of different, I'm just going to type in quarter so you can see what I'm talking about. They have quarter walls, and those quarter walls are pretty awesome. They kind of function as like a little drop pathway, so you can still shoot over it technically for PvP purposes, and it gives a lot of customization in order to, like, you know, make whatever you want. Now, what I also mean when I say this building overhaul, the inclusion of mods that have building capabilities inside of them is also going to be a massive quality of life thing for people. By the way, 90% of people play on official or solo player levels. No one really plays official. People that like to build and do that kind of stuff, this is a massive change. Having those mods easy to add inside of just a generic menu in the main screen where you can click add mod and then see everything already integrated into the game, that's a huge thing. Now, that's number three. Number four, new creature abilities. If you didn't know it already, yes, you can see them right here. These are dung beetles. They can automatically pick up poop, so you don't have to spend your time running all over the place in order to get your dung beetles to pick up poop. Oviraptors pick up eggs, so you can leave your stuff on breed and not have to worry about them. Lots of creatures have updated stuff that they do, right? And there's just small little changes like that. These are huge quality of life things that you don't think about. Like the fact that these guys can pick up poop means you can spend that much less time running in a circle literally based on poop. And then the oviraptors, the eggs. For people that love breeding on official networks, your life just got so much easier. You don't have to schedule times. You're going to wake up and your oviraptor is going to have 20 eggs ready and waiting. So just leaving things on breed is going to be a massive, massive, huge change. Now, next thing, right? So the S Plus, if you didn't know this, S Plus was a major mod inside of ASE. ASA, the literal creator of S Plus, which is a structures mod, was added into the team that built ASA. Now, what does that mean, right? So simple things like toilets, right? This right here is it'll give you access unlimited spoiled meat, because there's an option, and if you place your meat inside of it, it's going to automatically spoil. Things like your generators. Whenever I type in generator, right? Generators now authorize you to have them in unlimited distance, right? So there's no like choosing your distance. It's going to automatically go to the maximum range and display whether or not it's going to be ready to go. Massive, massive integrations that exist from S Plus. Now, for those of you that don't even know what I'm talking about, you will understand once you play this game on console what I mean by that, because you're going to have access to a ton of different new features in all of your buildings that you didn't realize existed, like dedicated storage, right? Dedicated storage is one of the coolest things in the game. However, now it also has the ability to wirelessly craft, so you can draw things from your dedicated storage. You don't have to walk back and forth between things in order to actually get access to resources. That is a huge change. That's number 5. Now, number 6, this is a quick one. If I hold R in game, right? If I hold R and I have a weapon in my inventory, let's just say we're just going to go with a long neck, right? A long neck rifle, and I'm going to go with a silencer, and then I'm going to add some tranq darts into my inventory, right? Shocking tranquilizer dart. I didn't mean to click that. Just stuff, right? Now, what that's going to give me the ability to do is, once I have where's that thing? There it is, the long neck. There we go. They added this feature. If you hold R, it's going to open up a menu. Instead of having to go into my inventory and switch between resources or weapons or attachments, it now gives you the ability to just hot swap as you're running. Literally, I can hold R as I'm running and put on all these attachments and weapons. Now, that's a massive change, because of the number of times that I had a situation arise where I was trying to move and change my weapons and stuff like that, and I had to quickly smash open inventory in ASE. It's a huge quality of life upgrade, and a nice little feature that they added in there. Now, that also works for shoulder mounts. Shoulder mounts on your shoulder can now be checked, and that's a pretty awesome update. Now, another thing that's kind of gone unnoticed is if you have your hotbars, you can see on the bottom it changes, right? I can change between hotbars now, and they have a smart hotbar system now that automatically detects what you want to be able to use. You can see that I can switch between this hotbar, and it's got a builder mode, which is that second tab, and then a first tab right here that's got all your resources and things you can place down, and it can get up to, I want to say it's 3 or 4 different individual tabs, and it basically just creates all the valuable things inside of your inventory and puts them in a smart bar that you can kind of flip back and forth between to take resources and all that kind of stuff. Massive upgrade, right? These are things you don't notice when you first open the game, but you kind of learn about them as you go, and you're like, man, that's really convenient. It's nice to be able to have access to that. And it just follows automatically underneath your normal stuff. So that's a big upgrade. Now, the next thing, this is going to frustrate some people, but it's much better. It's a quality of life thing. The fact is that creatures now have a much better pathing system, right? It used to be the case where I could kind of hide behind trees and they'd get stuck forever and they'd kind of just look at you. But now creatures do a much better job about kind of trying to avoid it when they realize they get stuck. So you can see, instead of just continuing to try and walk at me, this thing's kind of going to go backwards and reroute itself in order to get a better angle at attacking me. Now, if you're going after an aggressive tame, right, you can see he's turned around and is coming back at me from a different angle. I'm going to kind of try and hide behind this tree. And he's going to automatically path around that tree. You can kind of see that right there. That's a pretty awesome little change, right? That's a massive thing that you don't realize. Now, another thing is, if you're going after an aggressive tame, like a T-Rex, right? And you're trying to stand up, it used to be a popular thing where I could sit up. Oh man, there's some lag spike right there. Hello. All right, so continuing, just so you can see, they did a massive upgrade to how creatures kind of move. And yeah, so you can go up against a large creature now, like a T-Rex, and instead of being able to just snipe them from up in the air, you're going to have to actually come up with a better solution, because if they try and get to you and they can't after a little bit, the creature is going to give up and start running away. Now, it used to be the case where they would just sit beneath you and you could just like sit on top of a bird above in the aggro range. And it's not perfect, so there's still going to be errors and stuff. However, it's a massive upgrade because it's like a rewrite of how creatures actually work, right? So I can go down here. You can see that that's actually, I thought that was a creature down there. It's not. I'm just going to try and find something. If I can't, just take my word for it. Creatures are a little bit smarter. They aren't smart yet by any means, but they are smarter. And why is that a quality of life change? It's a quality of life change because it means that people are actually going to have to think about how they attack stuff. They're going to have to think about how they go about their Ark experience. And that's a big, big change. And it just means that you're going to have to come up with new ways, and that genuinely in the long run is going to be better for everybody inside of Ark, because you're going to have to actually come up with new methods. Now, that's the next thing. Now, the thing after that, it seems to be the case where they've actually changed the value of things that you get from caves. So if you go inside of a harder cave, you get more resources per node inside of caves. So things in more difficult areas, if you're actually putting in the effort to get things on the up high cliffs instead of down at the beach, it's going to be more difficult, which means that you're going to actually get more resources for trying to challenge yourself. Now, that's a quality of life upgrade, because once you get to endgame, it seems like there's always the same spot that people go to get resources. However, there is a value legitimately to go to the harder to get to areas of this game. So if I was to go over here to Swamp Cave, you can go inside of Swamp Cave and get some absolutely hilarious amount of berries and fiber and all that kind of stuff just by bringing in a tame that can gather all that stuff. Did I just miss it? I know it's like right around here, but it's a lot of fun. So like the actual difficult zones have a difficulty multiplier to increase the amount of resources that you can gather from those areas. Doesn't seem like much, but it is a massive upgrade compared to what it used to be, right? So that's a massive thing in my opinion. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about is character offset. This is a huge problem that I had inside of Ark. Massive. So if I was to take a crossbow from my inventory and get some arrows, right? It used to be the case where if you cycled between first and third person mode, it wouldn't actually hit where you're aiming. So if I'm going to look at this, right? If I look and shoot, it's always going to hit where I aim in first person mode. We know that. However, when you went to third person, the marker that you see on your screen isn't actually accurate. However, now it actually hits where you're talking. So that doesn't seem like much, but inside of 10, 15 yards, it used to have to like lead things without knowing that. But you can choose your character position. So I could go into settings right now, and I can actually go into my camera and choose how I want to disable, enable interpolation, what camera modes I want, field of view, the third person tactical camera, offset, all that kind of stuff. These are major changes that don't seem like much, but they are noticeable over time. As you play this game more and more, you are literally starting to notice that there are things that just change how you play, and the offset is a huge change. Doesn't seem like it, but those of you that know what I'm talking about, you're like, dude, that really pissed me off. It did to me too. Now, number 11, right? Character customization. You can make whatever kind of character you want. You can make large characters, small characters, fat characters, skinny characters, muscular characters. You can make characters based off people in real life, because it gives you a lot more customization in order to do that. So if I was to go back into my character customization, you can see that I've got this character here. I can make my character look however I want. And that's my thought process, right? So I've got mine that is a character that I enjoy playing with. Sorry, that's the honest truth. And that's what it is. So I enjoy doing that. So that's my character model. You can make all kinds of stuff, new haircuts, new eye colors, new everything. And it's a really nice custom change. That is a massive quality of life thing for people that care more about the simplistic PvE or offline modes or unofficial modes. That is a massive change for us. Big win for the 90% of the people that play unofficial networks. Awesome. So now what's the last thing, right? Last thing is very simple. It used to be a problem inside of Ark where drops were kind of stupid. There was no point after early game to getting drops. However, they completely overdid how drops work, and it's based on different percentages now. And all drops are basically worth it. If they have a ring around it, it means it's a double loot. And if you have any sort of drop, you can get random loots that are really high quality and random things from each of the different tiers. You can see that I can get oil from that one. I can get any resource now. So drops got completely overhauled, and that means that it might be fun for you to spend an hour or two running around the game in order to get the different drops inside of Ark. Used to be not the case. Some people did, and they would be like, I'm gonna chase certain drops and pick them up, or they would do cave drops. Cave drops are even more valuable, and regular drops are insanely valuable. So in general, there's a ton of quality changes to Ark. Huge overall, like you can see the graphics. I'm not even gonna mention the graphics because I love them. But the quality of life in Ark Survival Ascended has gone up massively. That is my personal opinion, and that's 12 things right there. There's hundreds, honestly, little changes that I notice more and more the more I play, and it's just a lot of fun. If you haven't bought the game already, I do encourage you to do it. I've made videos on both sides, whether I think you should buy it, not buy it. There's arguments for both, there really is. But in my opinion, this is a game that I'm gonna play way too many hours of. So I think you should at least give it a try. If you have any disagreements, likes, anything, put it in the comments below. And if you don't mind, subscribe to the channel. Like I said earlier, it's been my dream all along to hit 100,000 just to get that awesome YouTube play button and say that I did it. If you don't mind, just smack that button. It's free for everybody, and it's just I would appreciate it a ton, but that's up to you, obviously. Other than that, teach.